Hi, I'm Don Mecoy. I'm a business news reporter for the Oklahoman. Joining us today at Opubco Studios is Nick Massey. Nick is a financial advisor from Edmond. He's a regional vice president of the Householder Group. Thanks for joining us today, Nick.
Oh, you're welcome. Glad to be here.
Hey, listen, I'm a guy who's kind of an age that probably should be thinking about what I'm going to do about saving for retirement. Mm-hmm. What are some of the key things that a person needs to be considering when they're thinking about saving for retirement?
Well, I think one of the important things is to be consistent. So often people are starting and stopping their savings programs, or they get spooked a little bit by the news, or maybe over exuberant by some of the news. And the easiest way to do it is just do it on a regular basis, whether it's your 401k or other savings, but be consistent with it.
Okay. What are some of the mistakes that you see people make?
Well, the biggest mistakes is I see people being way too aggressive when the news sounds good, mm-hmm. and then they get way too conservative when the news sounds bad. And they really need to kind of adjust how aggressive they want to be on their portfolio, partly by their risk tolerance and partly by the amount of time they've got left until they're going to need the money.
I guess if you're chasing the market, you could end up selling low and buying high.
Exactly. Yeah. Because when the news is just extremely positive, it's probably at least hitting a short-term top, and when it's so negative like it is now, it's probably hitting a short-term bottom. But most people don't realize that.
Yeah. Well, some of the numbers that have come out from the federal government have shown that people are spending more than they're making.
Right.
But I read something that you wrote the other day saying that you think that we are going to become a nation of savers again. Why do you say that?
Well, we've always been a spending society, and part of that is the baby boom generation. That's been kind of what we've done. But I think what is happening, we study demographics a lot, and that's real important to our economic outlook and our investment strategies. And consumer spending and household spending tends to peak somewhere around 48 years old. After that, as the kids start to move out and expenses go down, they start to save a little bit more. Plus, there's this thing that happens when you cross 50 years old, and all of a sudden you wake up and realize, my gosh, it's not that far to 65, and there's a big shift that takes place. Well, the biggest group of our population right now is about 47, 48 years old. So we're at the beginning stages of a massive shift in our society of going from spending a lot of money, oftentimes with money that we didn't have, to trying to save more and prepare for retirement. Now, some of it people are going to do because they should, and some of it they're going to do because they don't have much choice. They're going to be forced into it. Credit's going to be tougher. They can't use their homes as ATM machines anymore. And so we're going to see that big shift over the coming decade, and that's going to have some profound implications for our economy.
Well, and you've written that you're sort of positioning your clients for what you call a long winter, mm-hmm. Right. Which I think sort of feeds into that demographic shift that you're talking about. Exactly. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, we say the long winter. That's the analogy we use is if as winter comes, there are certain things you do that you might prepare for winter, and in the animal world, they're running around and storing up food and preparing for winter, and sometimes if there's a severe winter coming, there's more preparation that needs to be done. So we use that as an analogy, and basically we think starting by the end of 2009, 2010, there's a long winter coming, economically speaking, and things are going to slow, things are going to turn down, and it'll be kind of a rough time for the economy and for certain types of investments. So we're trying to prepare our clients for how they might handle that.
Well, that's probably good advice. That's a lot to think about. Thanks, Nick, for coming in and talking to us about that. And
Great.
If you're interested in Nick's thoughts, you can visit his website at nickmassey.com. Thanks for joining us today.